Hi guys, welcome back. And today I'm here with the Dirk Lueth. He's a co-founder at Upland, which is really interesting new blockchain-based virtual real estate game. So Dirk, thank you for joining us here today. And how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? I'm doing
Very good,
wonderful.
very good. Like I'm always when it's sunny. I'm always good when it's sunny. That's the most important. So
Okay.
let's jump into the conversation and let's talk about the upland. Upland is obviously driving as NFTs continue to explode in popularity across the virtual economy. I mean, it's really unbelievable, what NFTs are doing. Oh, I see that llama.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot to put up my virtual background. Now it is here.
we
Miles Key
all
Chain, that's his
we
name.
all love her. So let's jump straight into that. Can you give us some kind of I'm kind of sure many of the blockchain believers know about Upland a lot, but for those who are not aware, can you give us a brief intro to it, what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we say is Upland is the Earth's metaverse, right? We got inspired by, everyone knows the board game Monopoly, and then we started out as a property trading game. So the idea is basically that you have Upland, which gives you the metaverse idea. I mean, I think metaverse is clear to your listeners, so I don't think I have to explain it. It's some kind of a parallel world. But we take actually the real world and put that onto the blockchain. So what you can do is actually purchase addresses. Currently, we're live in the city of San Francisco, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. So that means New York and Fresno. And what you can do is actually purchase, those properties which are based on the actual address. And then once you purchase that property, you start earning a small income, which is our in-game currency, which is called Apex. So we're available across platform, iOS, Android, and web. And but once you started, becoming a digital landlord, you can do so much more in Upland. And we say we're based on 3 pillars. So our first pillar is play. That means we have a couple of game engagement loops, how it's called, right? Where now once you own your first property, you have an incentive now to collect multiple properties with the same characteristic. So it's a collection mechanic. That means, okay, purchase, properties on the same street, and then you actually start earning a higher income on those properties, which is pretty cool, obviously. So that's the first engagement loop, which we have on the play pillar. When you see up here, that's play, earn, connect. So other engagement loops are we have treasure hunts, which are fun things to do. So you have to quickly, find a treasure in the city and go through that. And then we have scavenger hunts. So we have live events like we had on Easter, which a couple of days ago, right, where people had to, compete to look for Easter eggs and all these kind of things. So that's the play component. Then we have the next component, which is then earn, that people eventually be able to build on their properties, put like virtual buildings on there and so on. But earn goes a step further, and that's where now blockchain comes in. When I said we have this in-game currency Apex, that you have to purchase on the web with a credit card or PayPal or crypto, but also iOS and Android in-app stores.
Mhm.
But eventually, we want people also to extract not just the entertainment value out of Upland, but also monetary value, so that they will be able now to run and operate a business in Upland. So just think, when you think about it, so now you can put let's say a virtual house on your property, and now you want to decorate it with outside decor. So soon we're introducing those kind of shops where other Uplanders can sell, to another player outside decor, like a virtual water fountain or virtual fence or whatever they want to put on their building. And the nice thing is that they can now actually also sell for US dollars. And that's how people will actually extract monetary value. So we have a money transmitter license for all of US, and you will be able to sell any type of NFTs to other players for US dollars. So which makes it interesting, of course, because eventually from vision perspective, we see that people, make their living in Upland in the future. They all could become mini entrepreneurs and sell digital goods to each other. in that, maybe I want to add one more thing is we're also going to launch, when everything works out this quarter, what we call the NFT portal. So people will be able to import NFTs from other blockchains. That means when you purchase maybe a painting on the Wax blockchain or on Ethereum, you will be able to import it and then put that painting on your virtual wall and stuff like that. Or and we're going soon going to introduce cars. You can then drive maybe virtual cars you bought somewhere else. So we give really utility to the NFTs, and especially also from other blockchains. And in the second phase, you also will be able to trade those NFTs. So you're going to save, maybe all those transaction costs you might have on other blockchains.
Great.
And then the last component, as you can see, I always point the wrong direction here, is connect. Connect, that means you will be able to meet in virtual settings like virtual coffee shops and other places just to hang out with people and to socialize. But I pause here, so that's maybe in a nutshell what Upland is about.
I mean, the metaverse full of opportunities, right? What is the reason behind picking actually the EOS blockchains to build the Upland? I mean, on instead maybe as Ethereum or other blockchains.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we said from day one, we want to actually create a game or metaverse which appeals to the masses, right? And the problem is with what we currently do, when I don't want to pick on particular blockchains, but it's very complicated for lots of people, right? Because right now you have to understand private keys, wallets, and all that complicated stuff. In Upland, all you need is a password and an email. That's it. And you just, then you're in, and then actually we're creating the account for you. In the beginning, actually, you will only be a visitor to Upland because you have a net worth than more than 10,000 UPEX, which is equals to $10. So 1,000 UPEX is equals $1. And what's then, so once you overcome the threshold, become an Uplander. You have a small ceremony, and then otherwise you have always to log in every 7 days because you're only on a visa in Upland, right? So it's kind of fun thing with it. But we picked EOS because with EOS we can do all those kind of things. So there's easy onboarding with email and password. So that wouldn't have been possible in that way in Ethereum. But then we have a lot of blockchain interactions. And if just picture it, so when you, for instance, you can collect your yield on those properties, which I mentioned earlier, there's always a blockchain transaction. When you now have to, just to, collect your yield and you have to pay, I don't know, whatever, $1 just to collect it, this just doesn't work, right? It's not possible, right, for gaming. And that's why we do that. And then there's other reasons. So, when we opened up Brooklyn, I think we had 35 transactions in a second, because people were really buying a lot of it. And I think that's just not possible with most of the blockchains which are out there. And we needed really something which is, performant.
And talking about the Brooklyn, the Upland, the question is the Upland looking to expand to other countries, or are you trying to conquer the USA first? I mean, what's the plan? Because now at the moment you're available in San Francisco, New York, right?
Exactly.
So what's the plan? Are you going to conquer the world, or because I am very about to purchase something in Hawaii? So
well, we're still US though, right? So, but yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, so here's the plan. So first of all, I mean, we have been growing much faster than we expected. So, and our idea was to slowly open some cities, to add the features into it. But with all the NFT craze, which started sometime in February, I guess, right? Things went much faster. The result was that, like San Francisco sold out, Fresno, the Clovis are sold out. Brooklyn is sold out. So we always have to open up quicker new cities in order to meet the demand, because it's very important for economy to keep the economy stable, because otherwise prices are going up, and that's something we don't want at this point. So, and coming back to your question, actually, we announced that we wanted to open up soon the first international city. So we're going outside of the US. I mean, US, of course, we have, there's a lot of cities to open, obviously. But going forward, we're currently looking at cities in Asia, but also Europe will follow suit. I'm sure we will have those continents covered at least in the second half of the year and start going there. Yeah,
that's gonna be really exciting, because as you said, there's a huge popularity of this game. So could you share with us some of the successes, you know, your players that have had selling their properties.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe just a quick overview also. So San Francisco, New York, a little bit more on the expensive side when you want to purchase something, because just like in real life, it actually took real life, real life prices, and then, had a mathematical model, how we then, came up with the prices in New York and San Francisco. That was one of the reasons we opened up Fresno, because it was in the Central Valley here in California, where properties are much cheaper like in real life. So we had to do that. And also when you actually start, when you're an early Uplander, right, you can purchase the cheap properties, because otherwise all the rich guys, they always buy the cheap properties, and they cannot do that. That's called FSA in Upland. Yeah. So success of the players. So first of all, how are we selling? So we're selling in Fresno between 500 UPEX, which is 50 cents, but it can all the way go up. We especially the landmarks, they're going for higher prices. Just this Monday, we sold the Rockefeller Center in the US for 40 million UPEX, or for $40,000 US. Yeah, that was actually the highest sale in Upland so far when we sell it for the first time. But of course, there's a secondary market. And I know there was one guy who purchased a property for $150, but he sold it for $10,000, right?
Wow.
So that, that's his success. Yeah. So this is happening. I have to say that our fiat out, or let's say that you can sell for fiat, is still in beta. So we currently have 300 users, trying it out. So it's not even all the way, rolled out to all users, because we're doing this with a partner, and we have to make sure that everything works really smoothly until we roll it out for all players. But that's part of the success, right? That people can have in Upland. But I also want to see the vision for us is that, of course, it's nice, this idea of speculation, but in the vision is really that people run and operate business. They spend time and to create additional value, so people make eventually money from that. Like in real life when you have a job.
Well, and you really touch on it, that the people spend really a lot of time to actually be Uplander. So is there any danger that people see this as an investment scheme rather than the game? I mean, indeed, it is the game or the investment. I mean, I think it can be for some people a bit confusing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're predominant. We are a game. We are, well, I'd say we are a metaverse. Let's say it like this, right? Because I think a metaverse is much more as a game. Let's say, right? It goes way beyond that. And then the second thing is, we never say I mean, if people see us an investment, that's their thing to see it, right? But we explicitly don't say that we are investment. We are not, right? We are creating a metaverse, right? There's monetary value associated to it, right? To get into the metaverse, because we have the vision to, let's say, duplicate the real world in a certain sense. And then of course you have to, like in also in other games, we purchase skins. In our case, you purchase properties in order to, to enjoy whatever you want to do in the metaverse. Yeah. So that's how we see it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great answer, because like for some the all blockchain is just becoming these days the popular, and the masses are introduced to it. So it's all these NFTs. I know that there's already like huge popularity in NFTs, but for most of the people it's still new. They know that it's trendy, they know that it's new, but it's still something, it's new, right? So it's very important to educate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Educate the people about whole blockchain technology, about how the NFTs are working, and what actually these tools can do for you. But you have recently partnered with Tilia, right?
Yeah.
So how the partnership is going so far?
Yeah, Tilia. Yeah, Tilia is That's a very, very good partnership. So just as a background, Telia Pay is a subsidiary of Linden Labs, and Linden Labs are, the creators and owners of Second Life. And I tend to say Second Life is somehow the granddaddy of all metaverses. They were the first. They started sometime in the 2000s, to create this virtual world, and it's still a vibrant economy. It's still working, and they actually decided for themselves to, because they had all money, because in the US, when you want to, allow users to cash out or to fiat out, that people can take real money out in the US, you need to have a money transmitter license for all states, right? So for them, what they discovered after the time, okay, we built that for ourselves for Second Life, but how about if we to other games, right, in order to do the same? So we are the first partner of Telia, right, where external partner, where this, let's say, this fiat out is possible, right? That's one of the reasons why we're only rolling out slowly, because, we also want to make sure everything works out smoothly, yeah, and don't give that possibility right away to everyone.
And it's kind of trivial question but what is actual value behind anything you buy in this game?
Well, like in real life, it's always hard to say going concretely to properties, why does a property has a value, right? There's this word location, right? That's what drives value in a certain sense. And people attribute, I think, to the people we played, or to people who are the players we're talking to, they purchase properties because they own it in real life, so that has a value for them. So they want to combine the virtual world, a virtual version, and that some people purchase a property because it's close to a shopping area, and they want to maybe have operate a business in Upland, and they believe people naturally will go there. And other people just purchase something where there's a celebrity home, or because they know there was something, and they just say, hey, I own whatever property of this movie star. It's now mine. So and there's sentimental reasons and all that stuff, and it's a little bit also dreaming of. I think there's a lot of reasons why people actually purchase properties, and then of course we have the whole game loops in there, right? That you need this property in order to complete the collection, or need to have a property because in the treasure hunts, which I mentioned, you need to have certain locations in order to perform well in the treasure hunts, strategic locations and stuff like that. So that's of course the game loops drive it as well. We should not forget that.
Yeah, exactly. And as we are talking about the users, I noticed everything happening so fast for you guys. But do you have already some kind of the profile of your players, of your users, like who they are? Like, are they more women or men? They are middle age, older, young? Like, what's the profile?
Yeah, so the profile is, first of all, the way we position Upland is, when you're young, you have Roblox, then you have Minecraft, right? So Roblox, you play, I might be wrong, until you're 15 or so. Then you play Minecraft 12 to 21. And then, then after Minecraft, it's Upland, how we see it, right? When you grow out of those, right? Because then you're more serious in life, you want to operate a business, you want to, and other stuff. So that's how we position it. So when we launched Upland, since we are a blockchain game, and immediately, all the marketing we did, we were focusing on blockchain people. So we have a lot of what we call crypto aficionados. We estimate that today, but still we have around 30% players in the game. Why do we know these are players and not crypto people? Because they said so in podcasts. We have a lot of content created around Upland. There's other podcasts like video tutorials, all that stuff around Upland, and they said it. So I've never dealt with blockchain before because I thought it's just for geeks. Now because of Upland, all of a sudden I am in blockchain, and I have NFTs. That's pretty cool, So I got onboarded to that. So our age groups, I think, is our core age group is between 18 years old to 45-ish. We have a little bit some older people as well in there, right? But that's what I tend to say. It's quite right now. It's still very male driven. So we have to also say we're not taking data from our users. It's a little bit philosophy which we have, right? All we take is the email for the sign up. Right, and then we use third-party tools to know that, but I would never ask, how old are you or what are your hobbies or whatever, right? So because we don't want the data really. because since we're based on the real world, we want to reflect the whole world, right? We want to move away. We want to have really, young, old, male, female, whatever, right? So all that on board in Upland, and then that's just, but you have to see that Upland eventually, even though we are, let's say right now, the game operators, our vision is also to pull out one day and leave it out to the community to create it. And we see that already today. They're purchasing certain neighborhoods and then they create an art district or other things. So people of common interest, they meet in Upland and do things together, which is fascinating to see. And that's how I think it's going to also to evolve, because our theme is also, we always say, rebuild the world, right? So they can build, whatever they want to build on their properties, except they have a landmark, which we still want that, somehow resembles the world. So you still have, let's say, the Empire State Building, right, or other places in Upland, but then you can build something else on it, right? That you have an opportunity, and then maybe if you have a neighborhood with artists, maybe you have a lot of art galleries in there, people can go there and virtually, and see something. But when it becomes really interesting, once we launch, more, let's say, features which are directly connected to the real world. So you might be there physically, right, and do something. You might be in a physical coffee shop, but then maybe in that coffee shop you can purchase some NFTs, right? So it's going to be fun. I mean, it's not there yet, and because of the pandemic, we delayed all these real world things. But definitely in the vision to do.
What would you say to any user who's logging into the Upland? Like, what they should know? Like, what are those first? I mean, I don't know, maybe 2-3 points. They should keep in mind. Like, what is that you would recommend or you would suggest to any new user?
So first of all, you have to understand that Upland is a different beast, right? It's not a free game you play forever. I mean, you can play Upland for free. As I mentioned, we have this freemium model, right? But you have to be aware, it's a value, and value is also something, we offer the opportunity to, extract the monetary value out of it, just entertainment and monetary value, right? That comes into when you want to advance quickly in Upland, need to know that you need to spend a little bit of money. I mean, that's just the way it is. So the other thing is when you want to get started, right? You have to, lots of people just go in there, purchase the first thing without having a strategy, right? We, of course, don't tell players what kind of strategy they should have, but we have a great community on Discord, right? Okay. And people are super welcoming. You should go on Discord, say, hey, I'm new to the game, how can I help? So there's different channels. There's also fan servers and all that, where people should go and talk to other players, because Upland is a very social game already, even though it's not directly in the game yet, right? We're going to have it, but on Discord. So that's, I think, where you should get all the info, what collections to complete from, and how to move strategically in treasure hunts. So they're all helping with that. Yeah, and I think that's probably the best advice. I mean, you can go into Upland, sign up, purchase one property, complete the first collection, which is called newbie collection, because you only need one property, and then reach out to other players and discuss some stuff.
Very cool. And my very, very last question. So what's the future hold for the Upland? What's there, like, can you tell us, like, what are those plans for next, let's say, 2 quarters?
So for the next 2 quarters, so right now we have property development, meaning putting buildings on your property in a sandbox. We're launching that in this quarter very soon, so you can really use it. And the important thing is, once you want to build something in Upland, you need to have another token, which is called Spark. And you need to stake that token in order to build. Right? That means the more you stake, the faster you build. So it's an interesting model. When you don't need those sparks, you can put it on an exchange and then actually earn some UPEX for it. So it's a kind of interesting mechanic, which we actually also taken from the blockchain space. So that's the first thing coming. Then we have the NFT portal, where you'll be able to import the NFTs from other blockchains. We're very unique in that aspect. So I don't think any other metaverse is doing it like the way we are going to do it. We have a couple of brand deals, which I cannot announce yet, but really super interesting brands coming on board, like entertainment brands, musical artists, so that's very close of getting, finalized with those. So that's going to be fun, because then you just imagine there's a musical artist, you do a virtual walk with him through New York or wherever, right? That's these kind of things. So what's coming. And then in terms of game loops, we're working currently on cars. So people will be able to actually take a car, to go to somewhere. Because right now you take the train from San Francisco, from San Francisco to Fresno, or you have to take a virtual plane from SFO, San Francisco Airport, to JFK, and then you need to travel for an hour, and you have to pay for the train ticket and so on. But there will be actually, possibilities to places you can only reach by car. That's the reason why you need to have a car. So you need to go to a car dealer to purchase a virtual car, right? And by the way, we're also talking to some car manufacturers to get real world car brands into Upland. That's also going to be cool. And then we are going to have car races. That's probably only coming a little bit later that year. So you can take your car and then do a car race and then win some prizes and so on. So these things are, where I'm very excited about, which are, in the roadmap currently.
Like, very exciting. It really seems like you will practically in future be able to live in Upland. Like, you can literally move into Upland and have some, kind of your social metaverse. Maybe you never ever have in real life.
Yeah, that's the fact is, people are immersing more and more with technology, right? When you think about when you had only television, people were watching 4 or 5 hours a day, depending on which country you live in. And then, mobile phones, you're 8 hours on your phone, you're watching it, right? And now you get these worlds, with the new worlds, with the new tech coming up, like VR, AR, and so on. Because people always ask me, well, how do you see where Upland is in 4 or 5 years? I think of Upland's going to be somehow your companion, which just feels hopefully natural to be there, right? So you're going to wear, like an augmented reality glass, and you're going to walk through the real city of San Francisco, but you still, through the glasses, you see some special items, whatever you can purchase, you can play with, whatever. Yeah, and so and then you want to socialize with others, right? And it's not just, you have to go to a website, it's just natural, integrated in your whole flow, right? So it becomes really a part of your everyday life. But I always say also, because very often, the idea of this is in movies always shown as a very dystopian approach, right? Or it's going to be bad. I think it's a huge opportunity. And that's why I always say Upland is the new land of opportunity. People can become creative, find a job, socialize with others. I see it completely in a positive way, that it's going to be enhancing, people's life. And then of course you have the younger generations who are just growing up, with all the devices all the time. For them, it's natural to be on those devices, to purchase digital goods. That's something, people always are hard to understand, when you talk to, a little bit the older generations, why would I buy a digital good, right? And why, right? It's just virtual. I cannot hold in my hands. But I said, you know what? You did the same actually, when you were younger. You purchased a record of a musical artist, right? You had the record there, then you listened to the music, right? But the musical artist was not in your house. He was just there virtual, right? You just had this physical thing, which, and if you can hold it. But now this old record maybe is, somewhere in the attic, it's getting, collecting lots of dust.
And collecting the different, the sports card and trading them. Everyone were doing it even in the past, right?
Yeah, it's just a digital format, right? And the big advantage of blockchain is it cannot be faked anymore, right? That's the big advantage, right? Blockchain helps you to prove, that you are the owner, you're the true owner. You can take it and sell it, which is important for ownership if you want to do that. And that was the big change, because that's why we all say this is now Web 3.0. That means, after, the simple internet 1.0, then it's social and mobile, which was basically 2.0. Now you have 3.0, which is really everything value-based, where blockchain comes in. And this is, we're just in, the early days, January 2nd of what is, when you look at the full year, what blockchain will enable people to do. Yeah.
Exactly. It's completely new era. I mean, Dirk, thank you so much for taking the time and being here today and sharing with us all the insights and the whole, Upland project. I'm quite sure that the viewers will get much better picture about what it is, and I'm quite sure that a lot of people will get excited about to be Uplander because, I have to say, we already with AYO.NEW, we were like, yeah, we already are actually Uplanders. We're having like a small property in Brooklyn, but just for fun. But definitely we're gonna try to make our portfolio larger and going huge. So I'm really thanking you for this interview, and I'm hoping that Uplander in 1 year is gonna get even bigger, and we're gonna do another interview, and you can tell us about it.
Yeah, let's have it. Maybe then you have your headquarters there, and we can go into your virtual headquarters and have the interview there.
Exactly. We're going to directly meet in Uplander, and as everything will go as you want, with all the plans, I'm quite sure that we can do that interview in Upland.
Yeah, exactly. That would be cool, right?
That would be cool, right? I'm gonna have
love it.
I'm gonna have some cute office in a Trump tower.
Okay, yeah. Well, Trump Tower has been sold, I think, for I don't remember, for 7,000.
Maybe they're renting
something. We can still try to get it.
Maybe they're renting something else.
Yeah, that should be. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Dirk, thank you so much again. Have a great day.
All right, you're welcome. All right, thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.